Imagine going from a national hero to one of the most hated figures in the country, all in a flash. Mesut Özil was once Germany's star player, celebrated by millions. But then, almost overnight, everything changed. How did he go from being adored to shunned? What did he do that made people turn their backs on him? From his rise as an immigrant kid with unstoppable talent, to the moment he risked everything by speaking up for what he believed in, Özil's journey is nothing short of shocking. What made this world-class player leave it all behind? And what dark truths about fame and prejudice does his story reveal? This video uncovers the secrets that took Özil from beloved to betrayed. You'll hear the untold struggles, the controversial decisions, and the fight that nearly destroyed his career. Stick around, because each twist in Özil's story will keep you questioning. Was he punished for being true to himself, or did he uncover a truth too uncomfortable for the world to see? Mesut Özil was born in Germany to Turkish parents, growing up in a neighborhood where being different made life tough. His escape? Football. The field was where he could be himself, free from the labels that came with being the immigrant kid. By the time he reached Schalke 04, his talent was impossible to ignore. People started to take notice of this young, skillful midfielder who could make passes others only dreamed of. But his true breakthrough came when he moved to Real Madrid. Suddenly, Özil was rubbing shoulders with legends and showing the world what he was capable of. The boy who faced whispers and stares for being different was now on the world stage, making headlines with his jaw-dropping assists. But here's the thing, success doesn't erase where you come from. And for Özil, that would become painfully clear. What could possibly happen to turn this fairy tale story into one filled with backlash and controversy? Keep watching. In 2014, Özil reached the peak of his career. He was a key player in Germany's World Cup winning team, dazzling fans with his skill and heart. For a moment, it seemed like everyone had forgotten where he came from. He was simply a German hero. Crowds cheered, commentators praised him, and his Muslim faith was seen as an interesting part of his story. He prayed before games, showing quiet strength that inspired millions. But that unity wouldn't last. The cheers had an expiration date, and Özil's faith and heritage, once celebrated, would soon become ammunition against him. But why did this admiration turn into something much darker? The answer starts with a single photo. In 2018, Özil made a decision that would change his life. He took a picture with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. To Özil, it was a simple act of respect for his heritage. But to many Germans, it was a slap in the face. The media pounced, headlines screamed betrayal, and the public turned on him almost overnight. Özil, the national hero, was now seen by many as disloyal. The reaction was fierce. Social media exploded with hate, and the whispers about where his loyalty lay became roars. This was more than just a backlash, it was personal. The photo was only the start. It exposed a deep divide, one that Özil wasn't prepared for. But the storm was only just beginning. What happened next would test Özil's resolve like never before. The World Cup later that year was supposed to be a chance for redemption, but instead it turned into a nightmare. Germany suffered a shocking early exit, and someone had to take the blame. That someone was Özil. But this wasn't just about poor play on the field. The criticism took an ugly turn. It became about who he was, where he came from, and what he believed in. Özil finally spoke out, delivering one of the most powerful lines in modern sports history. "I am German when we win, but an immigrant when we lose." This wasn't just a statement, it was a wake-up call that revealed the racism he had been dealing with all along. What could make one of Germany's biggest stars feel like an outsider? The answer lies in how the system and society responded. Then came the bombshell. In a move that stunned fans and critics alike, Özil announced he was retiring from the German national team. The reason? Racism and disrespect. He said, "When I feel unwanted, when people attack me because of my roots, that's when I draw the line." This wasn't just a decision to stop playing. It was a statement against the discrimination he had faced for years. Some people called him brave for speaking up, while others accused him of using his background as an excuse. But for Özil, this was about more than football. It was about showing the world what it means to stand up when it would be easier to stay silent. But was this the end of Özil's battles, or just the beginning of a new chapter? What he did next would surprise everyone. Özil wasn't done fighting. He turned his attention to a global issue that mattered deeply to him: the treatment of Uyghur Muslims in China. In a bold move, he spoke out, calling them warriors who resist persecution. The backlash was swift. Arsenal, his club at the time, quickly distanced itself from his words, worried about losing its business ties with China. Suddenly, Özil was benched, and speculation ran wild. Was this the price of being outspoken? Critics said he should have stayed quiet, but Özil refused to play it safe. The cost of being both a footballer and an activist was high, but to him, some things were worth more than contracts or fame. Could it be that Özil's journey was more than just a football story? What did his fight mean for athletes everywhere? Özil's story is bigger than goals, wins, or even World Cups. It's about standing tall in the face of hate, even when it costs you everything. Was he punished for speaking out, or did he reveal the truth behind the glitz of sports? One thing's for sure, Mesut Özil's legacy is one of courage, showing the world that being true to yourself comes with challenges, but is worth every battle. In a world where silence is often the safest path, Özil chose to speak, and for that, his story will be remembered far beyond the football field. Özil's career shows the importance of standing by your values, even when it's difficult. He faced criticism and risked his career for speaking up about his faith and advocating for issues he cared about. This reminds us that standing by our beliefs might be challenging, but it's worth it in the end. Despite being in the public eye, Özil never hid his background or faith. He proudly represented his Turkish roots and Muslim identity, showing us that embracing who we are can make us stronger and more resilient. Özil's story proves that fame is fleeting. He went from national hero to facing criticism overnight. He taught us not to base our self-worth on public opinion, but to stay grounded in who we are and what we believe in. Özil didn't just play football. He used his platform to speak up about issues like the treatment of Uyghur Muslims. He showed that, no matter our profession, we can use our voices to advocate for positive change. Özil wasn't afraid to call out what he saw as unfair treatment, whether it was on a global scale or the racism he faced in his career. He showed the importance of standing up against injustice, even when it comes at a personal cost. Özil received harsh backlash and even experienced discrimination, but he didn't let it break him. His resilience teaches us the power of staying strong in the face of adversity and not letting criticism derail us from our goals. Özil's decision to retire from the German national team wasn't easy, but he did it to protect his own values and self-respect. This shows that sometimes walking away from something, even when it's painful, can be a necessary act of self-care. Despite his success, Özil stayed connected to his roots, often speaking about his early struggles and giving back to communities. His humility reminds us of the importance of gratitude and never forgetting where we came from. Özil's choices led to misunderstandings and backlash, especially when he posed with Turkish President Erdogan. He teaches us that we can't always control how others interpret our actions, but we must be at peace with our own decisions. Özil's courage to speak out on sensitive issues like racism and human rights inspired many who felt voiceless. His journey shows that having the courage to stand alone can encourage others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of positive change. Özil never shied away from his Turkish roots, even in a country that questioned his loyalty. He showed us that embracing our heritage can be a source of strength, even if it means standing out. Özil's career took a hit because he stood by his values. He proved that integrity often requires sacrifices, but staying true to your beliefs is worth more than public approval or career success. Despite the ups and downs in his career, Özil continued to give back to communities in need. donating to charities and supporting causes close to his heart. His story teaches us the importance of using what we have to make a positive impact on others. Özil's journey required him to adapt constantly, from Germany to Spain, from acceptance to criticism. He adjusted and kept moving forward, showing that adapting doesn't mean giving up on who you are, but finding ways to stay strong in any situation. Özil used his platform to speak up about global issues, even when it meant facing backlash. He teaches us that our voice has power, and sometimes it's our responsibility to speak up for what's right, even if it isn't easy. Each of these lessons from Özil's life reminds us to stay true to ourselves, fight for what's right, and remember that our values are worth more than any temporary applause or criticism. Mesut Özil's story goes far beyond the field. It's a reminder of what it means to stay true to yourself, no matter the cost. From his triumphs to his struggles, Özil showed us that standing up for what you believe in isn't always easy, especially when the world tries to silence you. He could have played it safe, kept quiet, and stayed in everyone's good graces. But instead, he chose integrity over acceptance, truth over fame. So, as we look back on Özil's journey, we're left with one powerful question. How far would you go to stand by your own beliefs? His story challenges us to think about what matters most and reminds us that sometimes the bravest choice is to walk your own path, no matter where it leads. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that dive deep into the lives that change the game.